Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for Hypnotic, starring Ben Affleck, Alice Braga, William Fincher, Hala Finley, and was directed by Robert Rodriguez. And our story follows a cop who, basically after the disappearance of his daughter, he decides to go back to work to take his mind off things. He ends up finding this guy who has these psychic abilities and is able to manipulate people's minds into doing what he wants, and in some sort of relation, he has a connection to Ben Affleck's daughter, so Ben Affleck needs to follow this guy and figure out, what happened to his daughter, and it leads him down a path where honestly by the end of the movie you're either going to be really confused or just really upset, because it's either going to be a waste of time for you or you're just going to be confused as to why this thing wanted to do all this stuff in the first place. But let's just get into what I liked and what I didn't like about the movie. Alright, so as far as what I liked about the movie, I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty loaded question in terms of this movie, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like I didn't like anything about the movie. I mean, it has some cool concepts and it has some cool shots in the film, but as far as like everything else, I'm not gonna lie to you, it wasn't the best. I'm gonna be real. Like sometimes Ben Affleck kind of, and I'm gonna be real. Okay, well let me just stay on track. Sometimes Ben Affleck kind of chooses projects where I feel like he's really like sleepwalking through the film, and he's not really like giving it his all. I mean, this dude did just come out with the movie Air, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So truly, he didn't really need to do this film, and he's kind of acting like it the entire time. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I mean, personally, have you ever seen a movie where you're not necessarily upset at it because it's like really bad, but you're not necessarily like happy with it because it's really good or good in general? You're just kind of like in the middle, just it's kind of just there. You're just watching the movie and you kind of just have like a neutral feeling towards it. That was my reaction to this film. I really just had like a neutral reaction, and I'm gonna be really honest with you. Okay, so as far as what I liked about the movie, it's really only the concept of the film. And I'm going to be real with you. The concept of the film is only good for maybe the first 30 minutes of this thing. It's not a long film at all, but I promise you, once you really start to get into the gist of what this movie is and what they're trying to do, they completely lose the audience. And I don't know why they tried so hard to make this thing just very confusing. I don't know why Robert Rodriguez decided to do the most with this thing. He really could have kept it very plain and simple, or he really could have just kept it based around this whole hypnotic thing, which the movie is based around that, but it really just goes in a direction where, or multiple directions, where you just feel completely lost. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, in my out of the theater reaction for this movie, I compared it to Tenet, Inception, and Now You See Me. And those are three phenomenal movies, and as much as you would think, me comparing this movie to those three would make this movie, you would think this movie's really cool. It's not. I'm only comparing it to those three movies because, of course, I'm comparing it to Tenet and Inception as far as it being very confusing at times. Inception, of course, is easier to follow than Tenet, but there's still confusing parts. Those are movies where you got to watch multiple times to get the concept or truly understand what's going on, and that's all right. But this movie just tries to be way too confusing at times. I compare it to Now You See Me just because of the hypnotic stuff, and it kind of compares to, some of the stuff they did in Now You See Me, but it wasn't as cool as what Now You See Me did. It wasn't as entertaining as what Now You See Me did. And like I said, personally, I just felt like Ben Affleck was sleepwalking through this thing. Alice Braga, she's cool. She's not, I never really have any issues with her. William Fincher, he's a good villain. He's always a good villain. I just feel like he's always really underutilized or just choosing very mediocre projects, and that's just what this is. This is a very mediocre project. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's nothing really special about the movie itself. Like I said, I was on board with it for the first 30 minutes, and then once the movie decided to really get into like what this thing is and what they tried to throw you a bunch of kind of twists and turns, and you really get lost. And I'll say this about the movie as well: the power scaling, like as far as like their abilities to use these hypnotics and things like that, it's all over the place. It's not really explained very well at all. And honestly, this is one of those movies where they leave a lot of plot holes where you're kind of like, okay, if this can happen, then this should have happened, or if this is happening, then why isn't this a thing? And it's just tangling your mind up with all sorts of just BS, and it's kind of just trying to be this really cool, hip, sci-fi magic movie, but it's really not doing any of that at all. It's really just being there. It's just a very neutral, basic mid movie. I won't lie to you. So I mean, overall, guys, I don't really have like much to say about the film itself. I mean, that was all my feelings about it, but I mean, I don't really have like much positive things to say about the film. I'm not gonna like really have a lot of negative things to say. Like I didn't think anybody's performances was too bad. I mean, like I said, Ben Affleck. I've seen Ben Affleck in worse for sure. Ben Affleck has definitely done worse movies than this one, but I mean, this will honestly be a movie like probably by the end of the year. I'll probably look back at the calendar and say, oh yeah, that did come out. It'll just be one of those movies. Kind of the movies you kind of, as Jeremy Johns would say, it's kind of the movie you forget in like T-1 day or maybe 2 hours. Honestly, after you left the theater, who knows? But for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and give Hypnotic a 2.5 out of 5 stars. All right, guys, so Hypnotic, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff and so much more, guys. I really do appreciate it. This is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.